control to both sides. Keep it to one, you can marry something else on the other side. So you're here, and if you have never done it before, I'm trying to keep my hips low, okay? I'm trying to kick this leg out and make it a pendulum to clear to the other side. As I clear, I flip my hips. I don't keep this leg long, okay? The moment I land, I bring this leg up right away because I gotta get an inside shelf, and I wanted to understand, if you understand the mechanics and how he's gonna turn, it's incredibly important that this leg shelve underneath. Okay, so don't keep the secondary leg long. So if you're going live with it, you're here, you're tight, you're trying to drive in, and you get this point, and now you kick one leg out, and now you're behind one shin. Okay, when you're two behind one, that's all I want you to do. We're gonna do it for 3-4 minutes, and then we'll deal with that far side hook when it doesn't release on you. Let's go, guys. Again, eighth, in a super slow motion. This leg is kicking out aggressively, and it's your pendulum so that you can get this hip that way. It's almost like sitting up quickly. You use your hands to throw. This is the thing you're throwing. So if you see eighth, he's clearing to that side and then flipping his hip. Do it again, eighth. That's exactly what he's doing. So when you see it go live, that's exactly right there. And he's clearing that instep. He's ending up two behind one. Do it. Okay, and now you end up here. All right, and now you're gonna just step over his knee line, and that can be you using your elbow, your hand, and the moment you step over your knee line, you flip your hip. And now you just change your knee positions, and now you're in a full side control position, done really efficient and smooth. Okay, so if you've never done it before, you could do it in a slow motion. If you've never done it before, just get into this habit of kicking this leg out to get it two behind one. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we're gonna go, if we can just get about another 90 seconds, and then we're gonna address when you can't get rid of that guy. Okay, let's punch it. We're not 6'4", so we gotta change angles. And the goal is to beat somebody that's much bigger and taller and stronger than you, right? So if I've sprawled at this point, this is what I mean by it. I wanna step over one kneecap, right? I would love to be able to be here, and then maybe I don't sprawl, but the reason I'm having you sprawl is because I want to pretend like he's this bigger guy. And I go hit this sprawl, and he follows me with this guy. Follow me? And I go hit this sprawl, and I can't clear. No big deal. I land here, and then I got an option. Either to smash this side or run the line up on this guy. I don't know. What happened? Oh. So I have no idea how this is going to play out right now. Okay? So I just hit this sprawl. So I told you before, you can run the line if you want. But I mean, you don't have to do it. But you're here like this. And now you just landed like this. So I bury this guy and take a step over. But as I take a step over this kneecap, he still has this far side. Okay, so he's like this. So as I stepped over, he still has butterfly on this guy. But the reason I told you got to do this together is that I need to run my headline up here to butterfly this leg in. So the moment I stepped over, we're like this. Okay, I just sprawled. And all I did was step over this knee because you can do it from here. Where you buried this and you stepped over, but it's not easy to do, man. And now this guy's trying to pick you up in the air, and like, yeah, I know, like it's shown, and it's shown where like your partner is like the same size, or like you can physically outmuscle him, but you know, the guy's bigger and stronger, and like you haven't beat this line yet, and you're trying to come up on him. He's throwing you up in the air, man. So as I landed, I was here on this sprawl landing, so I bury and I run. And as I'm running up this line, I'm butterflying that second leg in on the inside right there, right? So I went from sprawl to step over to run because I want to beat this butterfly on this side. Now both of us have butterflies, okay? I'm butterfly, he's butterfly, okay, on that side. We can beat this a couple of different ways on this, okay? We're going to keep it easy right now, but we're going to add to it because what's going to happen, like we're like this on butterflies, and I just either ran up from here or from here. I don't know where this hand's going to be, this guy. This guy I know was always over here, okay? I couldn't do anything about it. Most times this guy's going to be here because that's where I was on the sprawl, and when I pushed the kneecap down and I stepped over and I ran my headline up to get this butterfly, this hand's going to be on this side, not up there. Okay, so I'm just going to say at this point, because I'm here, I'm trying to get my head to this side so that I can push this kneecap down and clear it. You see Mr. Gordon Ryan do it as a business all the time on this guy. You're here like this, okay? So you just ran. I'm going to tell you to clear it. We're going to address it in different manners with this knee cut. So right now, if you've never done it before, okay? And you're not good at sprawling. I'm just gonna say, you're here like this, you put your elbow down, you stepped over. The moment I stepped over, I can't back step like we did before in that pass, because then he's gonna dump me with this instep. So the moment I stepped over, I shoot my head line up, because if you're flexible enough, but I don't feel like it's real, like the guy's gonna keep his leg here and you're gonna butterfly like that, you're not gonna butterfly like that. The guy's gonna keep connected. So if you don't get this line up here, you're not gonna butterfly that from here, no way. So you're like this, and I just stepped over, and now we're butterfly. So I got to drive up to get this butterfly on the inside up here, and now we're sitting like this. So I'm going to say on this guy, I'm just going to use my elbow or my hand to just clear over the outside and come right back in. Now I could drop the far side butterfly and come in there. Okay, so I'm going to ask you first to let's practice this. So when a guy gets butterfly on one side, I'm not going anywhere, because he's going to dump me and elevate me if I run up. So as I clear to come up, my goal, the essence of flow passing is different versions of it, but I still got to get my head here. So the moment I run up, I'm going to ask you not to butterfly from down there, because I don't believe it's real. If you're just sitting too low, he's not going to give you the butterfly, and stuff's going to go bad for you, and then you're going to tell me I couldn't pass that guard. Yeah, I know, but you never did any of the other steps. Okay, so the moment you're here, and now if you've never done it before, I'm telling you to do it off a sprawl pass. So if you're athletic and you're good at the sprawl pass, now you can start to see is like, oh, this guy's really big. I get it, because it's going to lead to a combination on the other side later, depending on how his tilt is on the sprawl. So I'm reading, reacting. If you've never done it before, no problem. Let's keep it simple. I make a wedge. I step over. The moment I step over, I have one goal, get my head to this base. So I step over and I drive. And as I'm coming up on the drive, I'm butterflying that second leg in. The moment I have a second leg in, we're good to go. I can play this a lot of different ways, but on this one, I'm just going to use my elbow or my hand, and I'm just going to take a big step over the top and come right back in, and I'm going to drop them. Mr. Gordon Ryan does it so exceptionally well. It's like, and then people go, how'd he pass? How'd he pass? Okay, so let's partner up and do it. That guy. To be really honest with you, I'm not. So I tell you the truth, and I know body locking has gotten so popular and flow passing, but I like real fighting, and like as a fan of it, like real street fighting and stuff, and that's not really where I'm going to go with it. But I tell you the truth, and like what I think of it, and also sometimes if you're so light, you're going to somehow, I told you this whole thing about this man being so high, and then you're supposed to somehow come around this turn on it, and that kneecap's like this high up in the air, and you can't step over it. And you're going like, damn, I can't clear this thing. And now I'm so committed to be so high up there, and I'm supposed to take that basing hand and put it behind me and push this kneecap through. And now he's like, his kneecap's like this high, and I'm trying to push it through, and I'm trying to step over it. And the step over is like this high. He's going to dump me this way. He's going to throw me over in 2 seconds. So that's why it's like, you better know how you're going to play this. Like, you better understand the full mechanics of this move and when to apply it against who. So I landed like this. I'm like this. I stepped over this. I run up here and I go like this. And I just told you before, he's 6'3", and you're putting your hand here and you're trying to put this thing up, and you're lifting this thing up in the air, and all of a sudden he's going to dump you. He's going to lift you up, and now you're going to go, oh boy, this didn't go too well for me. Right? So I got to start playing cuts on this. So I'm going to knee slice it the other way on this point. I'm like this, right? I've done everything exactly the same. I'm here. I've driven up really fast. I butterflied in, right? And I'm here. And I feel like, man, I'm not getting off you, dude. Like, we're not going anywhere. So I'm just going to press up and face my kneecap the other way. So I'm just making a little bit of spacing to slide this guy right here, right? Because now I can finish this off at this point. My hand was not here. Remember, it was always here. So I'm leaving it here. I'm not a fan of that. If my hand's up here, I'm not cutting this, which you have the opportunity to get behind me. No chance. So that's the reason I just brought it up, is that you saw my hand there. My hand was never there. My hand was always here because I started like this. I buried, I ran the line up. How did this hand get up there? It shouldn't have been up there. So it should have been like this. So now when I just repositioned, all I did was do a small push-up. right? All I did was elevate enough distance so that I could take that knee from this side to this side. And now I'm gonna sit on that hip and finish this cut off. Because now I can play it a lot of different ways. I could go back that way too. Like if you catch my foot and you're not releasing my foot, I could play it back the other way. But now I'm so far up the line towards your head that you got an issue going on. I'm about to pass you. So I'm here, right? And I've done everything the same. Either you stepped over and I told you couldn't, you didn't know how to, you weren't very good at, or you didn't have, right, whatever reason, you didn't sprawl well, and you did it in this manner right here. I stepped over, and my hands are here, and I run up, right? And I'm trying to get my butterfly in, and I get my butterfly in, and I'm here. And I'm trying to bury this hand. I go, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere. And I don't feel comfortable picking this leg up and trying to drop this hand. I have no idea where I am. So I just lift up a little bit, and I reposition my kneecap onto the other side. Never left him. I've never lifted my body up. All I did was slide my knee, and I'm like this. So I face that kneecap out. If I need the secondary foot to release the foot, great. And if not, I just thrust my hips forward, and now I'm in a side control position. That one's more realistic for me, right? Instead of taking the secondary hand, and I just described this story of this guy being bigger and stronger, and that kneecap's like this, and he outweighs me by 40 pounds, and that's more realistic as just me cutting knee lines, and I'm up here floating. I'm a huge fan of Ethan and Ethan, but Ethan on Friday nights, like, you know, he challenges himself. I'm so proud of him, and to be honest, he's not here right now, but you know, he used to question his BJJ, and now he sees like big jack guys that roll well. He goes a beeline for them, and he passes everybody with that pass. And he does it so well. I mean, he makes a living on a Friday night if you watch him. And there was a gentleman that he couldn't pass. And Ethan has I'll just tell you a really quick story, because I wouldn't say this to him to his face. He said to me, Professor, I can't pass that guy. And I said, well, you're passing him in a set that you're trying to throw his legs by, and he balls up and he turns, and couldn't pass him. And then Friday night was the first time he had deep success on the pass because there were no throws. He cut over and over with that cut. And it's a beautiful cut, right? So you go float, but you don't give him distance, and now you're cutting that knee left and right. And he passed him multiple times when he had issues, because that's the way you have to pass that type of player. You can't throw this guy by when he's so flexible and he curls over. You got to know how to play tight. And in real fighting, you got to know how to play tight. So that's not, when you're standing above somebody and trying to drag, that's not real fight. That's not real. So I want you to understand it. So we're doing everything exactly the same, right? Same exact move, right? Either you sprawled it and you stepped over, or you just wedged it and you stepped it over. I step it over. I run my line up as high up as possible so that I can butterfly the secondary foot in. I'm here. I'm trying to figure out if I can wedge this, step it over, but I say no. I say, hell with that, man. I'm just going to reposition this kneecap on this side. And now I'm going to use this leg to free that leg. And now I'm here. And we're going into a side control set. Real simple pass and so effective. So let's partner up and do it. Let's try. Some people taking this hand and putting it here and going into this cross face, basing here, and then just, you know, don't cross face if he's got a butterfly, okay? There's a few people who are doing it. If I put a cross face on, if I don't have this, cross face helps, because I can drive him, I can go into a tripod, I can cut him, but not going like this, and you're gonna be on a cross face here, he's gonna dump you over. Like, where's this, what base do you have here? Because you're driving in like this, and now you're driving, he's gonna lift you up in the air, and now you're gonna be floating all over the place, getting over, right? So, you know, they made this, I'm not a fan of this one, but I'll show it to you, right? I know that it's on DVDs, and I get it, and I'm not a fan of it. You're like this, and now you ended up here, so you're supposed to go high up here, butterfly the secondary leg in, right? And somehow this Velcro is supposed to be so tight that you're supposed to push this guy down, release him, and come back. I don't believe in the mechanics behind it. I mean, it's just, it's basic, like, dude, you're not doing that on a high-level guy, and in no competition has that been performed on a high level. It's been performed in here, and it's on DVDs and all that stuff, but I'm not a fan of that move. Because you're being on a butterfly like this, on this high compress, he's gonna spin you and attack your legs if he knows how to sequence at that point. And he's gonna throw you on these X's, and now he's gonna be down on one leg, attacking that far side leg. And then when you see it on DVDs, like, yeah, I know the person just stays there, and he accepts you on this butterfly, pushing this thing down. I'm okay with you butterflying, and I'm okay with you doing it, and I'm okay with the far side throw that you come like this. And you stepped over, and keep you this butterfly, and you're like this, and for whatever reason, this hand ended up here. You can't go thinking that you're gonna do this. I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna come up like this, and I'm gonna cut, and now eighth grabs onto this back hip, and how's this gonna go down? As I'm coming out, I'm like this? No way. Something's gotta be there. And then that's why you go to a different form of flow passing where you go into a full push-up position, because this hand went from here to there. And I can't let you get to this hip, and that's why I press up, because the mechanics change on the elevation, and now my float turns into a different form of float pass. So I just wanted to point it out, because that hand should not get over there, because if that hand goes from there to there, then you start a different chapter in your float passing. Right? But it's got to be explained. So try your best. We're not going to go any further than this, because what I'd love to do on Wednesday and Friday is keep hitting that sprawl so that we take it this way or up the center line on a cut. Right? It's all going to be off a sprawl, and then off the sprawl we're going to change the angle from here, and then we're going to read him and react off of him. Okay? And that's high level passing that we take the sequences deeper. Okay, guys? So let's just practice this, refine it. Get comfortable. If you just want to keep sprawling and sprawling and sprawling, that's fine also, if you've never done it before. And if you just want to go through the moves, keep them at 1 and 2. I told you I'm not a fan of the one where you push the kneecap down, because I'm not a big guy. I'm a fan of the secondary one where I cut the knee line, because if I'm here with him and I've done everything right and I'm a little guy and I'm up in the air like this and he's trying to pick me up and stuff, I'm going to keep floating. Let me have this butterfly. I'm here with this butterfly. He's going to try picking me up and stuff. Okay, so I'm floating left and right. I'm not stopping. I'm coming over the top on this side. I'm floating on the inside. Like, I'm not stopping. You can lift my kneecaps up, but I got penetration on the knee that I'm going to keep cutting this thing left and right. So that's realistic. Okay, but the other one, I'm not too big of a fan on that one. Okay, guys, let's partner up and try. You can do any form of it. On Wednesday, we take it off again from the same reactions. Let's rock.